sermon will be an introduction to Ecclesiastes. My main idea is God is the one who can give us the meaning for things. And the objective for today's message is to provide tools for a better understanding and of a misunderstood book. Ecclesiastes. Most people just say, this book is just doom, suffering, just a blue day, just someone talking about bad things that happen in life. No joy, no hope for the future, no bright day, no sunny day. It's just a rainy day, just snow all around. So speaking of which, two things happened this week that made me change the sermon for today. I had prepared something else, but this week I do get affected by things that happen in life. I'm still a human being. So two things that I saw this week that said, maybe I should preach on Ecclesiastes, because this is a book that can teach us many things. First, have you ever seen someone, you're driving down the road and you see a road rager? Have you ever seen someone parked on the side of the other car because they did not allow them to merge into the left or right, depending on where the lines are going, the lanes are going, and you see someone not allowing the other one to merge because they think, this person is trying to be too smart. He doesn't have the right to cut me off or do anything. So we are driving under hazardous condition. We see snow everywhere, right? We see snow on the road, the sidewalks, everywhere. If you're driving on 35, that is pretty much clear, except for a few spots that have snow almost across the whole highway. But if you're driving on the back roads, you still see ice. Not just snow, you still see ice on the road. And those two people, they were driving and trying to pass each other on the middle line between two solid lines, where you just wait for your turn to turn left, or if someone is coming the other way, turn this way. And they were trying to pass each other using those lines under heavy ice or thick ice, putting everyone else at risk. Why was that? Because they were just assuming the other one was not allowing them to exert their second or whichever third amendment, their right to move freely. Is that the case? Or they were just considering themselves too big for, I should do whatever I want. I don't like road ragers. I think it's just nonsense. So this got my family at risk because they passed us by. They got through a red light, and at the end, near Shawnee Mission Hospital, the Advent Health, instead of waiting for everyone else, they cut off more people, triggering more people because of their behavior. So this really, if you have your family with you, it shakes you off, because ice is not the easiest place to drive on, especially if someone else is doing nonsense things. The other thing that made me think about the sermon today was I went to the Olathe church and shoveled the snow. Not shoveled, but I was using first the snow blower, but then it broke down, so we had to use shovel. A day later, it snowed again. So once you shovel maybe 15 bays for a parking lot, it's a lot of space, and then you have snow again. The next day, you have to do it all over again. It made me think, are there circumstances in life that we do exert our strength, do whatever we can, to then realize everything was just in vain? Have you ever done anything with all your might, took a lot of effort and time, just to realize all those things happened in vain. In vain. There was no result, nothing tangible, nothing substantial. So this made me think about Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 1. We will go over a few of those passages today. This won't talk about just one chapter today, but I will not go in depth about the message. But I stand on the idea that whoever wrote Ecclesiastes was King Solomon. Whenever you can show the picture, please. This is not King Solomon, but I did talk to AI. I typed in King Solomon writing the book of Ecclesiastes. Oh, this is what it's showing. And the interesting thing, an aspect is, it's a golden chain. It does talk about, on chapter 12, later on, you'll see that it does talk about a golden chain, meaning the gift of life. It talks about life being a golden chain. We'll not exert the topic today. It will be on a different sermon. So he's basically, throughout the whole book, you see that in chapter 1, you see that in the beginning of chapter 2, he's saying, for the sake of knowledge, for the sake of wisdom, I will give myself as a lab rat in the pursuit of happiness. Have you ever heard about a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness, or Finding Happiness by Will Smith? He's the actor of that movie. So, is that a common theme for us? The pursuit of happiness. Is it something that we strive for? I think so. We say, if I buy that car, if I buy that ranch, if I buy that boat, if I buy that motorcycle, if I have that much money, if I have that proper gear, I will be happy. But this man, this wise person, he writes first Proverbs, and you see throughout the whole book, happy thoughts, happy moments, happy counseling. You see happiness all around it. You don't see bad days, bad things happening. You don't see bad judgment. You see happiness going on throughout the whole book. But he is still a young man. Welcome. Welcome. You see a very wise but still young person. When it goes to Ecclesiastes, he has done all the bad things he could do. And he does say on verse 4, generations, chapter 1, verse 4, a generation comes and a generation goes, but the earth remains the same through the ages. Verse 5 says, the sun rises and the sun sets. It hurries away to the place from which it rises again. Meaning, the sun goes from east to west, but the next day it is starting all over from the same spot. Meaning, what did the sun do? All the effort that the sun did, to their knowledge, we know that it's not just the sun that is doing something, is the universe is moving. So, to the observational point of view of things, this is what we have to think about whenever we are reading Ecclesiastes. He is observing. After he makes an observation, he asks questions, and then he proceeds to try that idea that he's kind of formulating. And at the end, he comes with a conclusion. So those are the 4 steps. He observes stuff, he asks questions, and then the third step is he puts that into action, or tries that theory that he's building. And the fourth aspect is he comes to a conclusion. Everything that he did, everything that he saw, everything that he could think about, he said, I will try it. On chapter 4, you'll see that. But before that, we should read chapter 1, verse 5 through 11. The sun rises and the sun sets. It hurries away. So, verse 6, the wind goes from south to the south and circles around the north. Round and round the wind goes, and on its rounds it returns. Meaning, everything that the wind does, it goes back to the same place. All the streams flow into the sea, but the sea is never full. And to the place where the streams flow, they will always flow again. Nothing that is done by the streams, by the wind, or by the sun carries any meaning. For the streams, for the sun, and for the winds. It does carry a meaning for us. We are benefited by the sun, sunlight. We're benefited by the wind, oxygen. Otherwise, we'll just breathe the same thing all over every time. We are benefited by the streams because it brings life to everything around it. But for the sake of the stream, is not doing anything. On verse 9, what exists now will always be. And what has been done is what will be done. There is nothing truly new on earth. Is there anything about which someone can say, look at this is new? It has already, or it was already done long ago, before our time. No one remembers the former events, nor will anyone remember the events that are yet to happen. They will not be remembered by the future generations. Other translations, they say, no one remembers the previous generations. That is true. I don't recall my great-great-grandparents' names. I don't. If you do, that's great. But what he's trying to say is, if you live your life trying to find happiness, trying to just pursue what is best, I'm trying to do what is best. Yes, we are all trying to do what is best. But if you live on the hype of happiness or of joy, I only want to be happy. I just want to do things that make me happy. That's probably not the best way to live. He was the wisest man since he was very young. He went his whole life with that wisdom. To a certain time of his life, he was just smart because he was making foolish choices. So, again, at the end of his life, he comes back to his senses and he writes this amazing book full of good lessons. It is not a doom and gloom tone that he writes this book, but on the purpose of saying, do something meaningful with your life. Not just, I'll do what causes me the greatest joy. You see, Greek philosophers, they have this notion of, whatever brings you happiness, go for it. But even those philosophers, they were not happy. So on verse 12 to 14, we find, I, the teacher, have been the king over Israel and in Jerusalem. I decided to carefully and thoroughly examine all the things that have been accomplished on earth. I concluded God has given people a burdensome task that keeps them occupied. I reflect on everything that is accomplished by man on earth. And I conclude, everything that has been accomplished is futile, like chasing the wind. The word in here, futile, some translations, they just say meaningless. If you check your Bibles, do you find meaningless somewhere or just futile? Some translations, they say vain. Some translations, they say futile. And the proper meaning for the word would be, I'll say the word in Hebrew, which is hevel or havel, Hevel, means a smoke vapor. So whenever you're chasing after joy, if only joy is your purpose in life, if only riches, if only to have fun, if that's your goal in life, you're pursuing smoke. That's why he connects the two things. He has accomplished, man has, everything he has accomplished, everything man has accomplished is futile or hevel. Everything man has accomplished is like chasing the wind, is like chasing smoke, is like chasing vapor. Can you catch vapor? Can you catch smoke? You cannot. So once we think, if I purchase that clothing article, if I purchase that jacket, I'll be really happy. If I get that phone, if I get that computer, if I buy that car, I will be extremely happy. It does give you a sense of accomplishment. Yes, it does. But at the end, if you crash that car, if you drop that phone, what happens to you? Can you solely base your joy, your happiness on the things that you can accomplish, you can grab solid things? Can you only relate your joy, your happiness in life, in things that you can lose? Why am I asking this? Have you been to Malibu in California? I hate to talk about this. I really do. But have you been to Malibu? I have. It's amazing. It was amazing. What did the fire do? Hundreds of houses on the seashore are just laid to waste. And they were really proud of their homes. Aren't we all proud of our homes? It's our piece of land. We're happy with the place we live in. But if we solely base our happiness in things that we accomplished in life, out of nowhere, a fire can catch up. You've seen the fires. You work with fires. Oh, sorry, are you also a fireman? Okay, but you do ride bikes. Okay. So, you work with fires. In a matter of how many minutes a house can burn down? 10 minutes. And that's it. The things that the person fought so hard for can be gone. Car accident. How long does it take for a car accident to happen? Not more than 10 seconds. That's it. If you look away, you're driving 65 miles an hour, and you look to the side for 3 seconds, you cover the length of a football field. A lot can happen in that span. A lot can happen. We were driving here in front of almost in front of the cemetery today. Angel was looking to the right side, and for a brief second, I looked to the right side. And once I looked back, less than 20, I would say 20 yards away from me, I saw 2 bucks. They were right on the sidewalk. If I had not stepped down on the brakes, I would have hit the 2 bucks. Can you imagine this? You're not paying attention to something for half a second or a few seconds, and then that's it. It's evil. It's hevel. It's smoke. Even our lives, we have to understand, we have to realize, if we only try to catch smoke, if we only try to catch or run after vapor, our lives will be wasted. This is something that we have to realize. This is something that God is letting us know. Don't run after things that are shiny. Don't run after things that you think will be satisfying you. All this is vapor. You can go through the whole book and you see 8 times, very, very specific times, he's saying, all this is vain, vapor of vapor. Sometimes he says that, hevel of hevel. That's even worse. It's not timeless. It's not something that it can last forever. That's why he says on verse 4, chapter 1, verse 4, we read it already. But let's just go once more over. A generation comes and a generation goes, but the earth remains the same through the ages. Is the earth something that will never pass away? No. The Bible even says once the Lord comes back, he will burn the whole earth. He will purify it and he will create a new heavens and new earth. So not even the earth is something that is lasting forever, but the earth has seen more stuff than we have. Sometimes we comment on things that we don't know. Sometimes we get our hopes on things that are not lasting forever. Generations. I think the previous generation from mine was more wise. We may have more information now, but things that are happening are so vain. People just getting TikTok videos all over the internet, and they're doing what with those videos, with Instagram posts? What are they doing? What are they achieving? Nothing. They're just moving around, dancing, or just dubbing someone singing. What does that accomplish? So for them, this is life. But in reality, someone that saw all that happening, he says, this is futile. This will pass. Even the things that you hold most dear will pass. So, first lesson. All this is vapor. All this is vain. All this is meaningless. So this catchphrase appears 8 times. So the next one, we have 3 main catchphrases. So the first one is, this is vapor. The second one, we keep trying to find joy. We keep pursuing and making movies about the pursuit of happiness. If we have this, if we have that, I'll be happy. So chapter 2, verse 24. Chapter 2, verse 24. It says, what does a man acquire from all his labor and from the anxiety that accompanies his toils on earth? For all day long his work produces pain and frustration. And even at night, his mind cannot relax. This is also futile. Chapter 3, 12 through 14. 3, 12 to 14. I have concluded that there is nothing better for people to do than to be happy and enjoy themselves as long as they live. Also, that everyone should eat, drink, and find enjoyment in all his toils, for these things are gifts from God. James 1:17 says that everything that is good and every perfect gift comes from the Lord. So the second conclusion is, first one is, all this is hevel. All this is vain. All this is smoke. The second conclusion is, joy only comes from the Lord. And you see that throughout the book 6 times. I will not go over the 8 times that it says it's vapor. I will not go over the 6 times that it says it's 6 times that joy comes from the Lord. Because he also says that in many words a foolish man speaks. So I'll try to contain my sermon today for a very small amount of words or shorter time than regular. So as we were saying, chapter 7, 21 and 22. As I said, we'll have to go over many verses today. 21 and 22. It says, also, do not pay attention to everything that people say. Otherwise, you might even hear your servants cursing you. For you know in your heart that you also have cursed others many times. This is a sensitive topic because we do say things that we shouldn't say. I would say few times, but it is not few times. Sometimes we speak too harshly one to another. Sometimes we may not speak harshly, but we disguise our true intentions with a smile or a soft tone. But if we are worried about whatever people say about us, we will not find happiness in that too. Because even us, I can say that I did speak ill of many people in life. And if someone speaks ill of me, should that hurt me? Should that change my life? Should that make me feel bad or down? So this is just a few of the counsels that he says. Chapter 5, verse 7, and chapter 12, verse 13. We'll not read those, but it does say, fear God, because this is the conclusion. So the first catchphrase is, this is smoke, this is nonsense, this is just running after the wind. The second conclusion is, joy comes always from the Lord. And the third conclusion is, fear God, do whatever you want to do in life. He has a better plan for you. But if you don't want to follow his plan, you don't have to. But at the end, there will come a time that judgment will be cast upon earth. So the main idea for the sermon is, if you run after your things, it's just vapor. So everything that we think it can bring joy to us is just vapor. Because true joy comes from the Lord. So fear him. So those are the three conclusions that we can come to today. In summary, the author in the book is saying, no matter how much you think you know, or no matter how much you know, or no matter how much you have or you want, or no matter how much what you have done or haven't done, at the end of the day, God is all you need. Joy is a gift from God. We can enjoy it as part of our lives. And he also can take it away. I would like to ask you to remember those three things. Because the book is 12 chapters long. We don't have time to read the whole thing. But if you want to conclude something about joy, about life, about happiness, and how happy this book is, this is the only book that is chosen to be read in all the festivities, the Feast of the Tabernacles in the Jewish community. Every Jewish community, they still have it. They had it before, centuries ago, and they still hold it every festivity, the Feast of Tabernacles. They read the book of Ecclesiastes. They could read any other book from the Old Testament, but they choose to read that one. And it's the happiest feast they have. In conclusion, for me, all this is vapor. The second idea, joy comes from the Lord, so fear him. May God be praised. Have a blessed Sabbath, and stay warm out there. Let's finish with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessing of life. We understand that all good things come from you, and we want to praise you and honor your name because you have given us the joy of enjoying small things, small blessings that you send our ways. Please, Lord, let us recognize all those small blessings, the protection that you bestow upon us every day, the deliverance that you give us every day. May we understand that this comes from you. It is not our own doing. Whenever we achieve something, let us give our praises to you, give our honor and glory to you, because you are the giver of life. You are the giver of every blessing. So we praise you for our families. We praise you for the life. We praise you for whatever you have given us. And we want to soon see you on the judgment day. We know we have someone that is rooting for us, that is fighting for us. I praise you for Jesus also. In Jesus' name, amen.